David Bowie is a man of the arts, with a diverse and innovative catalog coupled with his iconic looks, sealing his place in music history. Among his many talents, Bowie possessed an important skill that aided to his legacy, reinvention, donning new personas, alter egos, and characters throughout his 50-year career. Today we cover who those characters are, the history behind them, and explore the many faces of David Bowie. In 1962, David Robert Jones made his entrance into the world of music. His formative years had aspirations of making it, hopping band to band, searching for a sound that stuck. After multiple unsuccessful attempts in his English local scene, he ventured into a young solo career. Dissatisfied with his stage name, Davy Jones, more notably tied in the mid-60s to Davy Jones of the Monkees, he would now go under the moniker David Bowie, the name based on the 19th century pioneer James Bowie, who helped popularize the Bowie knife. With a history in dramatic arts, studying avant-garde theater and mime, it wouldn't be long until Bowie began to write about the exploits of his first major character, Major Tom. Major Tom is an astronaut referenced in Bowie's track Space Oddity.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade.
While embarking on a journey into space, a malfunction occurs, causing Tom to become isolated above Earth with no chance of returning home. Although the views seem grandiose, the experience is polarizing, leaving Tom emotionless, likely facing an oncoming death. Bowie later continued Major Tom's story, while also leveraging the character as an autobiographical symbol in 1980's Ashes to Ashes. Ground Control receives a message from the Action Man, likely referring to Tom. The shrieking of nothing is killing him, now only having pictures of women to keep him company. Bowie wants to stop, but the planet is glowing, essentially saying he can't quit whatever is influencing him, with later verses reflecting more on Bowie's battle with addiction, being a junkie, strung out on heaven's high, hitting an all-time low. Major Tom also made brief appearances in later works, with Space Oddity lyrics being referenced in the remix of Hello Space Boy off 1995's Outside, an astronaut in the music video for 2002's Slow Burn, and a dead astronaut in 2015's Blackstar. After receiving his first major success with Space Oddity, Bowie would further explore his identity, now expressing his artistic endeavors not just through a character in a song, but the adoption of a whole persona, by the name of Ziggy Stardust. Depicted in 1972's The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust,
Ziggy played guitar, jamming good with Weird and Gilly.
Ziggy is an alien rock star who arrives on Earth. Earth currently is in a state of disarray, dying due to the lack of natural resources. Around the world, older people have lost their touch with reality, while children have adopted a hedonistic way of life and no longer want rock music, as there is no electricity to play it. Ziggy is advised in a dream by the Infinites, greater beings also known as black hole jumpers, to write about the coming of a Starman destined to save the Earth. Ziggy's tale of Starman is the first news of hope that people have heard, latching onto it immediately, with Ziggy now gathering a large following and being worshipped as a prophet. Eventually, fanaticism becomes obsession and violence, with Ziggy being torn apart on stage. Inspired by English rock and roll singer Vince Taylor, whom Bowie met after Taylor had a breakdown and believed himself to be a cross between a god and an alien. In the 1960s, Bowie had seen American rocker Gene Vincent live. His stance during this performance would be adopted by Ziggy as a way to present himself on stage. Bowie also mentioned the inspiration for Ziggy Stardust stemming from multiple sources, including Iggy Pop, Lou Reed, Kabuki Theater, and the desire to branch away from the denim-clad look of the hippie generation. Previously, Bowie had experience creating very minor stage personas with his backing band Hype in 1970. Often sporting flamboyant and wildly colorful costumes to combat the image of what a rock act should look like. Ziggy became the more refined idea of this, toting a bright red mullet, pale skin, and glamorous outfits. This act of rebellion against the established norm was extremely fruitful for Bowie, as fans now flocked to the image and sound of Ziggy. Extensive touring followed, with Bowie feeling as though maintaining the Ziggy persona was affecting his own personality and sanity. Acting the same role over an extended period of time proved difficult, driving an inability to separate Ziggy Stardust from himself. Now a star across oceans, Bowie's musical exploits would bring him to America, where he feared the future would have him trapped by Ziggy Stardust. This meant writing new material that drove away from Ziggy's direction, releasing an album titled after the lightning bolt-clad Aladdin Sane.
Wait for Aladdin Sane.
The notable lightning bolt splitting his face in half was partly inspired by the way Bowie felt he was being pulled in different directions. A perfect visual complement to the album's title pun, Aladdin Sane, which was the original proposed title. Bowie's new persona was less defined, famously referred to as Ziggy Goes to America. Now no longer confined to being Ziggy Stardust, Bowie's stage demeanor became reinvigorated. On the 3rd of July 1973, the final date of his 17-month touring schedule, Bowie performed at the Hammersmith Odeon in London, announcing the retirement of Ziggy Stardust. Heading into 1974, Bowie would release Diamond Dogs, which is seen as the result of multiple projects he originally envisioned. One being a musical that never came to fruition based on Ziggy Stardust, a theatrical adaptation of George Orwell's novel 1984, and an urban apocalyptic scenario of writings based on William S. Burroughs. The title track introduces Halloween Jack. Jack leads the Diamond Dogs, or packs of feral kids camped on high-rise roofs, tearing around on roller skates, terrorizing the corpse-strewn streets they live above in the post-apocalyptic landscape. The costume that defined Jack played into a pirate look for the character, retaining the dyed red mullet and shaved eyebrows of previous personas. This time adding geometric patterned shirts, prop wide-leg pants, platform boots, and a long scarf around his neck, with the addition of an iconic eye patch. Funnily enough, the eye patch wasn't originally a part of the look, as Bowie had contracted conjunctivitis, or pink eye, using the eye patch to cover up the affected area. Although commonly identified as one of Bowie's personas like Ziggy Stardust and Aladdin Sane, Bowie only kept Halloween Jack for a short period of time during the first leg of the Diamond Dogs tour, as he began writing for 1975's Young Americans, forging the Plastic Soul era, Plastic Soul being a means to describe his departure from glam rock and an embrace of American soul as well as R&B. This change wouldn't only mean a departure sonically, but also usher a new look in The Soul Man. The Soul Man also wouldn't stay for long, with Bowie being cast in the sci-fi fantasy film The Men Who Fell to Earth in 1975, now taking on the role of a humanoid alien named Thomas Jerome Newton. Newton crash lands on Earth, seeking a way to find water for his planet, which is suffering from a severe drought. He instead finds himself at the mercy of human vices and corruption. This character, with minor influences from the Soul Man, would be used as inspiration for creating one of Bowie's most notable personas, the Thin White Duke. Alluded to in Young Americans, but mentioned by name in the title track of 1976's Station to Station, Bowie sported slick back hair and a cabaret-style wardrobe, consisting of a white shirt, black trousers, and a waistcoat. The Duke was a hollow man who sang songs of romance with an agonized intensity, feeling absolutely nothing in the process. Bowie described the Duke as a very Aryan fascist type, a would-be romantic with absolutely no emotion at all, but who spouted a lot of neo-romance. The Duke became a controversial figure due to making pro-fascist statements. Soon after making the comments, Bowie claimed that they were theatrical remarks made in the character, and did not reflect his actual views. Many correlate this behavior to rampant drug use, particularly cocaine. Now leaving California for Europe in late 1976, he sought to improve his mental and physical well-being, eventually settling in West Berlin during early 1977, then quietly retiring the Thin White Duke persona. While in Berlin, he would introduce electronic, ambient, and krautrock influences into his music, releasing the Berlin trio of Low, Heroes, and Lodger. A minor character, the DJ, making an appearance in the music video for his track titled DJ. It is speculated that DJ stands for Bowie's real name, David Jones, using the Berlin era to distance himself from his vices and personas. 1980 would bring a more straightforward musical affair in Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, with a video for hit Ashes to Ashes introducing the character of Pierrot. Ashes to ashes, bunch of blankets, we know Major Tom's a junkie. Not originally invented by Bowie, Pierrot is a stock character from pantomime and commedia dell'arte, an early form of French and Italian street theater. Historically, Pierrot originates back to 1665, seen as the ultimate tragic comic clown. He is characterized by a shocking white face paint, frilled in baggy clothing, as well as his lonely air and lowly social status. Bowie saw this as a means to move forward from a major creative era, expressing himself as the everyman, and making a statement that David Bowie was purely theatrical. Bowie would then release Let's Dance in 1983 and Tonight in 1984, additionally starring in the 21-minute short film Jazzin' for Blue Jean. In the film, Bowie plays two characters, the clumsy, awkward would-be romantic Vic and Screaming Lord Byron, a flamboyant rock star. Vic attempts to court a young lady by convincing her he knows Byron personally and that she can meet him. The film is a commentary on the stages of David Bowie, as Byron first appears normal, is then seen being pumped full of drugs, has his regal makeup applied, and then is totally in his element on stage. Vic breaks through the roof to Byron's dressing room, the event inciting fear and paranoia in Byron, perhaps a nod to the effects of drug use. Nevertheless, he appears on stage for the performance of Blue Jean. The film closes with Byron meeting Vic's date, acknowledging that they had already met previously in Peru. The two then leave together, abandoning Vic. Screaming Lord Byron was only featured in the Jazzin' for Blue Jean film. It was not portrayed by David Bowie anywhere else, on or off stage. The name of Screaming Lord Byron stems from real-life musician Screaming Lord Sutch, who was in turn inspired by Screamin' Jay Hawkins, both famed for their theatrics on stage, and Lord Byron, an early 19th century poet of the Romantic movement, famed for his scandals and relationships. In 1986, Bowie worked with composer Trevor Jones, writing original songs for the 1986 musical fantasy film Labyrinth, which he also starred in as Jareth the Goblin King. Jareth is the antagonist of the film, the enigmatic king of the goblins who kidnaps the baby brother of main character Sarah after she wishes him away in a bout of sibling frustration. Jareth is a rebel and an outsider, controlling the goblins within the world of the Labyrinth, annoyed by their lack of intelligence. Bowie referred to the character as a romantic, but at worst, he's a spoilt child, vain and temperamental. Possessing the ability to create illusions and reveal dreams, Jareth spends the film attempting to quell Sarah's journey through the labyrinth. Toting wit and a cocky demeanor, Jareth's costumes are designed to be regal and slightly menacing, wearing an array of ruffled tops, Victorian coats, and skin-tight pants. Years would elapse before the introduction of many more significant characters, with 1995's Outside following the story of Nathan Adler. Adler is a detective who is investigating art crime, or the act of creating art with one's own self or someone else's physical body. Some artists push this concept to the extreme, using murder and mutilation as a way to express their craft. This led to the murder of 14-year-old baby Grace Blue by an artist dubbed the Minotaur. Adler identifies three main suspects in the case: Leon Blank, a young man and outsider artist with a small criminal record; Ramona A. Stone, a middle-aged woman with heavy involvement in leadership roles within art crime; and Algeria Touchshriek, an old man involved in art crime but on the down low, as he is a business owner of the local Laugh Motel. The album elapses with Adler progressing the case and revealing more details about each of the potential culprits. Outside was directly influenced by the television series Twin Peaks, with the storied events taking place over 2 decades, and all characters being a representation of Bowie himself. It's important now to acknowledge that Bowie had been producing music for nearly 30 years at this point. Along the journey, he delved deeply into the understanding of oneself throughout his career. 2002's Heathen shows a character that dreads the inability to find meaning and purpose in life.
Where they don't care how you are, everyone says hi.
Personal events in his own life, including the birth of his daughter Alexandria in August 2000 and the death of his mother Margaret in 2001, deeply affecting him. Thematically, Heathen continues the spirituality of Outside, Earthling, and Hours, depicting a godless world and reflecting on the ever-constant process of aging. In 2004, Bowie suffered a minor heart attack, reducing his musical output for the first time in decades. In 2014, he was diagnosed with liver metastasis, advanced cancerous tumors that had spread into his liver from other areas of his body. He began an arduous treatment, continuing to work on material for his final album, Blackstar.
I'm a black star. I'm a black star.
Blackstar was released on the 8th of January 2016, Bowie's 69th birthday. He passed just 2 days later, with his illness not being revealed to the public prior. He shaped the album into a swan song, a parting gift for his fans before his death. In the music videos for Blackstar and Lazarus, we are introduced to one of Bowie's final characters, the Blind Prophet. The Prophet wears a blindfold with buttons over it. likely a commentary on death and the uncertainty of one's afterlife. He has white pointy hair and black clothes, anxious, introverted, and tormented. The prophet appears with two other characters in the music video for Blackstar, the priest and the flamboyant Trickster, these characters being tied to different realms of Bowie's acceptance and retrospect, facing his own impending death. Despite an 18-month ongoing battle with cancer, Bowie chose to create rather than sit on his already historic legacy. A true artist until the end, Blackstar is a testament to finding unparalleled creativity within your own mortality. With each character and persona, Bowie shared an aspect of himself, representing integral pieces of his life, sound, and vision. These characters not only brought an image to the sound, but helped solidify key moments in time that are remembered by his fans forever. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, subscribe, and drop me a comment on your thoughts. Let me know which of David Bowie's characters or personas is your favorite. On this channel, we drop music-related videos every Wednesday. Until then, I hope to see you again soon. I'm a black star. I'm a black star.